So are we live right now or?
I don't think you're anymore. He said the stream died.
Okay.
Do we live then?
Dude, spit on that thing.
Hello? Do we live then?
Dude, spit on that thing.
Hello? Do we live then?
Dude, spit on that thing.
Hello? Do we live then?
Dude, spit on that thing.
Hello? Do we live then?
Dude, spit on that thing.
Hello? And there's been so many issues with the stream. It's working fine now.
Okay.
I hope it's working fine. Polaris just so you'll see.
All right. Welcome back. We were having some technical
There's been so
difficulties,
many
but
issues with the
it
stream.
is fixed now. And
It's working fine now.
okay.
I hope it's working fine. Polaris just so you'll
We are
see.
so it is KK who has won the coin flip, and welcome back. We were having some technical
There's
LTC
been so many
bans
issues with the
used
stream.
memory fixed now, and KK selected Moonlit as their map pick. What do you think about
It's
that,
working
Tori?
fine now.
Okay.
I hope it's selected Moonlight. Right. Polaris just so Moonlight is like a map you don't see very often because of its big space. So like players don't tend to like to play on Moonlit, especially because in round one you can have a hullabaloo cover that distance. It's crazy. The players usually ban Moonlit as I saw in qualifiers for Japan. So very interesting pick.
Yep. I agree with you. Moonlit is definitely one of the maps in BO1 that is extremely strong for the Hunter side. I'm interested to see how this play out.
Also very interested to see how this plays out. Just waiting now. That's
Sorry.
just the members are swapping their lineup right now, so just be waiting for that before we start the band picks. That sound issue from earlier was really funny. All right. That seems like everything's good. We'll be starting soon.
Yep. We are starting round one, first half of LTC against KK.
See. We'll be having KK play survivors and LTC as hunter.
I think we are having a little bit of technical difficulty, and we might have to restart this round because
So the technical difficulty.
the game maker did not select the right amount of band pick. Wait.
We're still going.
Did the game maker forgot to do band pick?
No, the ban picks. Oh wait, no, the game maker did forget. There's no ban.
Yeah. We might have to restart this matchup.
Give me.
Um. We're facing a little bit of technical difficulties here, but
It's a real thing we're having, aren't we?
yep. Oh,
Right. Alright. Restarting the ban pick because we have survivor bans that the hunter can ban again. So we have mechanic and seer ban. Mechanic and seer ban. I've been seeing a lot of these bans recently. I do stats for tournaments, so hunters in particular that I've been seeing ban a lot. Uh, these two, especially in round one, surprisingly, is I've seen Hullabaloo's ban them, which is very interesting to me because Mechanic is mostly seen as a tie survivor and is let out later rounds.
yep.
So I'm kind of
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
wondering why hunters seem so scared of the Mechanic pick. Yeah, sorry, you can continue.
With PO1, especially with Collaborate and Goatman, you're expecting your hunter side to get a four-man elimination most of the time to even the score because the character Collaborate and Goatman is just that strong. And Mechanic being a really good tie character, it's somewhat effective at shutting down like this kind of 4K pressure from the hunter, and sometimes they just ban her out of the fear of getting tied. Just kind of funny because tie is not a bad thing,
Yeah,
but it
ties
is.
are not a bad thing. But especially if you're around 100, you really want that 4K so your survivors can just ensure a tie for the next half. We can see here that we have coordinator, psychologist, and lawyer pick for the permabans. What do we think about this team? Is it like what do we think about its effectiveness against something like a hullabaloo or a goatman?
Um, I feel like there's I'm kind of curious about the lawyer pick because in my personal belief, lawyer can kite neither hula balloon nor goatsman, but must have been a specialist pick out of
I'd like to think the lawyer pick might be for rotations because the map Moonlit is so big, you can possibly like take advantage of that. But then again, Hullabaloo and Goatman can be considered very, very mobile hunters, so they could possibly make up for that. And the survivors would just be lacking survivors due to rotation. But he said it could also be a specialist pick.
this combo is definitely not weak, and we're seeing a knight pick in BO1. Knight is oftentimes banned in BO1 actually, so allowing the knight may be a bad choice for the hunter side, but it is a big map, however, and knight is their only rescuer other than coordinator, which also lacks mobility. I'm interested to see what the hunter selects here. I'm leaning towards Hullabaloo. What do you think, Tori?
I'm also leaning towards Hullabaloo. Or we could see a surprise specialist pick, as we could see from other tournaments where they like to pick a more niche hunter for their first round, just so that they can save the meta for the later.
Let's see.
Oh,
Ooh,
a Dream Witch. I called it. the niche hunter for round 1. Not specifically niche, but not a round 1 pick like you'd expect.
Dream Witch is a very interesting pick against this comp. The comp itself is not exactly weak against Dream Witch, but
It really is.
yeah, the hunter himself must have a lot of confidence in his Dream Witch to be able to play against this comp, and but this map is however a good map for Dream Witch to be played on. So you know, playing on this map with a really confident character, anything can happen.
Yep. You're confident in your pick, you can put like do anything. We should always expect the unexpected from these kind of things, because usually a surprise pick like this will throw the players off and might ruin their momentum when thinking about their opponents, which is very interesting. So this will definitely be an interesting watch.
Yep. We're seeing here the Dream Witch spawning between the coordinator and the lawyer, who both have suicide build. It is
They're both prepared for kiting with Flywheel Magic on the court, Borrowed Time Magic on the Psychologist, Magic Type on the Knight, and Flywheel Magic on the Lawyer. It seems these two are both ready for kiting, which is kind of unfortunate for the Dream Witch, who's raw chase hunter, so she might seem to struggle a bit at first.
what do you think the hunter would chase out of this?
Oh, these two? I feel like these are both pretty bad chases, honestly. I feel like I just go for the cord because the lawyer might just hide around at that point. It's nice to get out the gun too.
I'm actually thinking out of the four, the hunter might choose to chase the knight, since knight is on bridge and without any close support. But we will see. The match starts.
Just starting now, and we will be seeing her walk towards the corner. Just to bring over here to honestly, and it just feels a bit too far for me, but that's like from my perspective.
Oh, very high pressure. Instant
High
hit for Patrol.
Very early hit.
Yep. Well, this is looking like a very good position for the hunter. The patroller is up and bites the coordinator. The coordinator shoots the gun to the leech, but the main body leech follows almost immediately, and the coordinator dies.
You see her go down. That's a pretty early down with only ciphers at half progress, which is not really ideal against a hunter who has like some incredible cipher pressure too. It has the potential for incredible cipher pressure.
Well, this is looking like a very good working position for the Dream Witch. The three people are focusing on the cipher and I think deciding to sell the coordinator on the chair. But getting a hit here, nice.
Get the hit. No one's coming in for that rescue, which is just added cipher pressure. And she's whittling down their health.
Wow, they are the odds are not looking favorable for the survivor side, and we see the lawyer is attempting to rescue. Oh, never mind, leaves.
Never mind.
Yep.
Lawyer's choosing to back up. Probably believes that it won't make it in time.
Yep, and
but
is found by the Dream Witch and is immediately a second chase started. Very fast chase, I think.
Yep. The patroller is out.
We are looking at 2 full ciphers remaining and like 1 cipher on 80%. It's extremely hard to see any way for the survivor to. Oh, very good flywheel from the lawyer side. successfully out-kiting the patroller, but still taking a hit.
Can I get onto the coaster?
Yep.
The Dream Witch is already out.
Oh.
Dream Witch. Okay. It seems like the Dream
Psychologist
Witch is
given
getting ready for them to get on the coaster. But
another patroller.
another patroller. Another patroller, and
Interesting.
might see the lawyer try and get on the coaster. No. Or if I want to get on the coaster, so.
Okay.
Hit.
Very nice second kite from the lawyer, not only allowing for rebound, but also not dying as well.
I feel like the second kite of the lawyer really helped with the cipher progress. It can push the ciphers further. With how it looked earlier, it looked kind of but now it looks decent. This looks like it could go for a tie if this next kite goes well.
Psychologist here doing very well, not getting a hit, even though being such a cornered area by the image.
Although this area is also where the 81% cipher is, I believe, so this might prove to be a challenge for the survivors. Because then they'll need to start a new cipher. This Dream Witch will just be pressuring the cipher. Dream Witch just seems to be guarding the ciphers. Sure, this one.
Only one cipher remaining, and that the cipher over there is 80%. I think they're starting a new cipher because they would expect the cipher over here to be controlled by the Dream Witch. Notice that two ciphers are on two opposite ends of the map, and it is really hard for the Dream Witch to control ciphers in this position. Even if she is a Dream Witch, because the distance between the two ciphers are just too long.
And swallowing back between them seems to be really a challenge to continuously keep up between these two ciphers. But at some point we will be releasing a cipher pod.
We are actually seeing 3 ciphers being worked on. But however, the lawyer's leech is still intact, and there is no intention to take off his leech. That might cost them the game in the later round. We will in the later in the end game. We'll see what happens. Another patroller.
Lawyer be chased. If she commits to this lawyer, someone can possibly get on that cipher.
Unfortunately, lawyer gets down here.
The knight still has tied though, so there's a possibility that they will come to rescue the lawyer and fight the cipher. Which can manage to. Oh, there's basement.
There's basement for Dream Witch. A Dream Witch basement. Well, however it is a knight, he is able to rescue, but keep in mind the lawyer has no borrow time, and
the lawyer does no borrow time. That might prove to be an issue here, so the knight might have to try and get the lawyer out without getting, so that they can do the pop. I think ideally you'd want to pop down in basement.
Oh, early hit onto the knight.
Well, at least it wasn't a drop down. Oh no.
Oh wait.
Oh.
Unable to rescue from the basement.
Unable to rescue from the basement. Oh, this.
This is back to a 4K position for the Dream Witch. Very well played by the Dream Witch here.
Yes, this entire game was entirely well played. It's been been like a roller coaster between whether these teams will tie or not, and it seems like it moved from the tie position to a 4K position because of the failed rescue from basement.
Yep. Yeah. So Dream Witch basement is an extremely powerful thing now. As you can see,
it's not something to be happy. She can essentially have 2 people in the basement, so. And this will be a 4K.
Yeah, this is a 4K in BO1 first half, not using a Meta Hunter, but Dream Witch.
Dream Witch.
This means that the Hunter for KK, I think?
Oh no, this is LTC's Hunter. KK to survive.
Sorry, excuse me.
It's
Uh,
alright.
this means the hunter for LTC still has a meta hunter like Rubble or Goatman in the BO2 rounds. Definitely a very stressful matter for the server side
Yep.
of KK.
It's like bringing back an Ivy, but it's not Ivy. It's pretty much the
Yep. Oh, that also means the hunter has stream an Ivy in the BO2 matchup.
Yep. Still a lot of options for the meta hunters, which is really good for the hunter. Let's see how KK's hunter is going to do. I wonder if they'll also be opting to pick a non round one meta hunter.
Hmm.
My bad. Someone walked into my room. Anyways, yeah, so as I was saying, I wonder if uh, KK's hunter would also opt for a non round one meta pick or something like that. Maybe even swap. So like an opera singer instead of a hollow blue.
Hmm. I'm interested to see as well because well, technically speaking, if you pick a meta here like a Horrible or Goatman here, you will inherently have a weaker ban pick in the start of round 2 as a hunter side. So
Yep, and
um,
the other hunter has
yep,
better options.
definitely there is stress on the side of KK's hunter.
Yep.
Not only have to get a 4K, but also possibly, if possible, using a non-meta hunter to get a 4K would be optimal for him.
Very excited to see what kind of pick we'll be seeing.
Yep. Oops. Um,
Like, I always Alright, so this will be starting the match.
Off the bat, we're gonna see a priestess and a seer ban. Very common ban, especially for this map where priestess is extremely strong. And we see an embalmer and an acrobat pick.
Oh,
Uh,
Homer and Acrobat.
yep,
Permaban
looking at the ban pick, I think they're just leaning towards the one escape, because their hunter really got a 4K for them. So all they
Nope.
really need to win the round is just one escape or a tie even. The hunter here banning any Korean. And the
All
psychologist
this pick.
pick. Very a common pick. What do you think about this comp? Uh, Tori.
think I think this comp, yeah, this comp is fine. This is a good comp. They're missing a rescuer right now, and it's good up the hunt. The up to ban any rescuer. They can go for Merc. Yep, and there's the Merc pick because of the map being big. This is a pretty decent comp. Yes. Um, there's two survivors. Again, technically, I mean, like an embalmer and just the ball, and he's really good on big maps because the hunter will have to move, especially the bombers from one side to another. It's really good. Bombers can also be considered a tie survivor, so it's pretty clear that they're aiming for a tie just to win the round.
Yep. Very interesting picks. What are you leaning towards? Goldman, Hura Blue, or some unknown non-meta?
Well, I want to say some also not round one meta hunter, but I'm not sure. Might not be confident in another hunter for round one,
Hmm.
so it might be a hullabaloo or starting with which hunter is which is more comfortable with. Honestly, I
Yep.
feel like Hobo if I remember. Oh, oh, okay.
Oh,
We'll
that's
be having a.
interesting.
Oh, okay. Just taking your time. Okay,
Oh, we're
but
seeing a clerk
I'm
on a
seeing a clerk
large map
around
in BO1.
BO1. Honestly, I was kind of expecting because if I remember correctly, Story is also is a clerk player, so I was kind of like, will this person play clerk from one?
A
Hmm,
very confident pick, I must say.
I'm confident too.
Well, I'm excited to see what this how this plays out because Kirk is usually not played on big maps, but I guess she is indeed a very a hunter that is able to 4K. Um, well,
She does have pretty potential. I know Clerk doesn't do well against a team full of support. Since this team, it's like so she might have a little chance. I'm not sure because these guys can definitely fight her.
hmm,
Okay,
interesting.
so we'll be seeing the Acrobat spawn in 4, the Merc spawn in Cypher Ridge, the Bomber in 2-story, and the Psychologist in first stop. The builds are Flywheel, Borrow Time on the Psychologist, Borrow Time Tide on the Merc, full kite build with Flywheel and Knee Jerk on the Ebalmer, and Flywheel, Borrow Time on the Acrobat. Certainly with that full kite build, it seems like they want the Ebalmer to take the kite. Understandable because of the use of Coffin too, so they wouldn't have to get off their ciphers if they want to rescue the Ebal.
Hmm, yep.
Right, we'll be starting.
Starting off the bat, we are seeing Warp on Clerk, which is actually a very good pick because you are in fact on a very big map, and Clerk lacks the mobility to traverse such a big map. And going after Embalmer first is I would say
As you
the
can see,
very smart choice because Embalmer is the only one who does not, in fact, have kiting ability. I mean, so does the Psychologist, but I think she's gone too far away for her to be able to chase.
yep, and you see this is hers. So this is where the psychologist found it, seeing that she's already gone from this area because of the locked cipher. We can see that the Obama has. Oh, and someone must have turned off second stop because the Obama is going to third.
Yep. Uh,
Bad.
but here,
Blue
Psychologist getting
ranking.
um, Psychologist is getting chased because the Embalmer is if I left up a
We'll
pause
be
on
seeing a pause.
um. Well, I would say the first kite is most definitely long and without damage, but the cipher isn't much due to the constant rotation from the survivor side. This
Yep.
is still looking like a very possible 4 kill for the clerk, especially because the psychologist found with only flywheel and is unable to make much distance against the clerk from
Yep.
this position.
Especially when you see because of the a psychologist line of fighting, but this is why you usually see players bring knee jerk to compensate for that. But the psychologist right now only has flywheel, and they might have intended for her to only act as a support while the Evolmer would be the kiter because of the full kite club on the Evolmer. But because he was taken to third, it seems that the clerk doesn't want to chase him anymore, and instead finds the psych, which seems very favorable for her in this situation.
Yep. Interesting. We are still waiting on the pause. It would seem that. What's the reason for the pause?
I mentioned the reason for the pause. I didn't see any. Oh, someone's game crashed. So we'll be seeing a pause until this person's game comes back. And we'll be starting against.
We are starting back, and yeah, clerk within close distance of the psychologist. Psychologist is not able to really rotate much else. Clerk here waiting for mind gaming with the psychologist on the pallet, waiting for a recording to record breaking a pallet here. Looks like psychologist is gonna take a first hit here. One cycle already complete. Oh wait, but flywheel?
That was a good point. Oh no. Oh, did it land? Oh, it did land. Because the stress is going down. It would have been a good flywheel otherwise. But this does mean she no longer has any other resources to get rid, and she'll just be getting the second hit.
Swim, but is still able to get onto the second swim. Records, the cipher here is constantly being harassed, so even though the clerk is indeed in fact chasing for a long time, the actual cipher progress is still manageable to get a port. Very nice pallet stump from the psychologist. Able to buy just a little bit more time for their survivor side, but unfortunately, I think all pallets here except the two here has been used, and
but the ciphers are actually looking pretty good.
Yep. Despite the constant harassment on the cipher from the clerk, the cipher here is still looking rather manageable for the survivor side. However, there is a basement here, and well, there may not be enough time for the cipher to be popped if the mercenary gets double down here, and especially at this in fact basement.
I need to show their patience here to avoid the double down, because the double down could ruin this entire game for them.
Didn't see the mercenary. Sees the mercenary. Mercenary gets a drop down hit, but is able to rescue before half. Hits the psychologist first, goes into the corner of the map. Still hiding. Clerk unable to get a double down. But there is still two ciphers remaining, and one full cipher needed to be completed. But another is at 90%. In this position, for a clerk, this is actually looking like a 3-kill position, because clerk indeed does have a trump card. Turn back into the basement again.
I think that the psychologist did not get far enough away when she went here in the basement. So like any other person that's not merit would kind of struggle against this, fortunately. And there's no cipher for them to push for the rescue from the merc. This is a very risky situation.
Yep. The merc has to be able to make a rescue here. And merc is able to get down, but is it gonna be terror shot? No, it is not.
Nope. Merc will be getting the rescue here, but this might be a double.
The Acro came, prime the body block for the psychologist. However, there is only one person on the cipher currently, and against the Kirk, that's basically cipher never gonna get decoded. Very nice
Oh,
firebomb
oh,
from the psychologist was able to vault just in time.
It seems that it's the bomber's turn to be body blocking,
But
and
yeah.
now they've spot places the acrobat be decoding the cipher.
Misses a hit here. Is the psychologist gonna get onto the tramp? Psychologist gets
Oh, she
on!
does! She does get
Um,
on! This is starting to
a
become
warp?
favorable towards this is starting to become favorable towards the survivors.
Yep. And the second stop is being turned off, so the psychologist goes to the third stop and is able to survive. It
Yes.
seems. However, the ciphers are all on this half of the map, and it's
Oh,
although
this isn't a bomber though, but unfortunately, the coffin is there.
is there the bomber should not use the revive here and wait for the mercenary to come rescue.
Coffin is way too close
Yep.
to the hunter to be effective. Or it seems like she'll be bringing up the warp to be partially by the ciphers. Going back.
Essentially wasting the warp here. Of course the cipher.
The mercenary is already here to rescue.
It's a hit on the mercenary able to rescue. Well, I think just because of the warp wasted, now the clerk doesn't really have any pressure on the psychologist whatsoever. Down in the embalmer here, who does not have borrowed time. I think he will revive and the cipher will just pop, and this is looking like actually a tie position for the survivor side.
This is an incredible game from the survivors right now.
Does not know the embalmer does not have borrowed time and chases after the acrobat. With 2 ciphers and 90%, I do not think this is a wise choice, but we will see.
They're keeping it at 90 to avoid the clerk from forcibly popping the cipher. I think they'll just pop here. Yep, they'll just pop here.
Up here,
The psychologist is dead on chair.
psychologist is dead on chair. However, it is in fact a 4-man pop out, and keep in mind the survivor only needed 1 escape to really win the round here. It was definitely a very close game. Psychologist here fly we win.
Definitely had its moments where it could have been worse, but it seems like the survivors managed to make sure that it was favorable for them.
Yep. Unfortunately, the psychologist getting downed here. The teleport on the mercenary. This is actually looking like a 4 escape because the mercenary does have a coffin on him and is not afraid of dying. The psychologist has
And
help
there is the doctor over there.
Yep. Pressure is definitely building up for the hunter side here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Will this aggression be punished, or will it actually profit the hunter?
Oh, the roller coaster
the coaster.
Here. Is the coaster turned off for all 4 stops?
It might be.
It
seems to be.
The coaster is turned off for all 4 stops, and the mercenary gets onto the other side of the map unscathed.
That will also be. So they will also be able to escape. This is a 4 escape.
This is a 4 escape for KK survivors. This is a 10-point difference. Well, that is definitely. Huh?
There's so many throughout, but that was for sure interesting. That was a very interesting game from survivors there. All they needed was a tie, but they stepped up anyways and got a 4 escape.
Yep. And this is which puts their team at a 10-point advantage starting from round 1.
Yup. They'd want to keep up, then they'd have to also do the same, or at least 3 escape 4K. And then I think by rounds they would win.
Yep. Uh,
Mm, well, not really. They'd win that round, and then they'd have to play the next round. Still, the point difference would be very hard to match up to.
yes.
Before skip to 4K back to back is not something that's easy to come back to.
Yeah. Very unfortunate for the LTC side. Um, can they make this miracle come true?
Maybe, but we might be seeing the meta hunters now from them because remember, they're still not permabanned. And survivors will only be able to ban one hunter. So might be seeing one of the meta.
Yeah. Actually, you are right. Uh, we forgot to mention that starting from round one, there is both sides of the hunter did not play a meta hunter. That means Goatman and Hula Blue, at least one of them is still available in BO2. Um,
Yep. And this can prove to be turbulent for the survivors that would need to also get for escape and like yeah. And but can also be useful for the hunter that would need a 4 kill because with the permaban survivors there's less good survivors that could possibly hinder hunter the hunter from getting a 4 kill.
yes.
So we could
Very true. Well, now it's just a matter of whose meta hunter is more fluent, and you know if they might be able to turn the tide if the opponent's team is a specialist in Dreamage but does not play other characters much, and this could be huge for their server side if they're able to tie against like the at least tie against the opponent's hunter.
Yep.
Mm.
Um, there's always the possibility for yet another non-meta pick. You never know.
Yep. There's always that chance for the meta.
Round one, well, we did mention that part of me didn't really want to fully consider that they'd go for a non-meta pick for round one, but both hunters seem to want to go with a non-meta pick. So there's also a slight chance that they would not pick a meta for round two. But I feel like in this kind of position, you'd need to go meta, especially if you're KK who has the 10-point gap to fill.
Yes. Very true.
We're waiting on the teams to pick to ban their map and to pick the map and to pick their faction. Since we're going into round two, is there any map that you feel like they'd pick for like the meta hunters just to get back for the 4 kill?
Um, Based on their position, I think Kawhi's choice is actually Sacred Hospital, just to, because Sacred Hospital is such a is a is the most survivors in the map, out of all the map selections. They might be inclined to gamble for the chance of extra points, and because they're already at this battle of a spot, what's the worst that could happen after this, really?
Actually,
Uh,
it seems that it actually seems that KK will be banning the map, so they might end up banning Sacred if the other team has a plan for it.
yeah.
Not too sure with KK's Peter pool, so I'm not really sure what map they would pick for this. But honestly, I feel like Red Church wouldn't be too bad for the two meta. I feel like because like, it's a small map and the coverage for those two because they're so mobile is so good. So I feel like you could definitely choose that map, and it's good for the survivors too. I feel like if I remember correctly, some people would regard Red Church as one of the most balanced maps for hunters and survivors. So if they really need to fill in the gap, I feel like yeah, I could see Red Church. Then again, it is LTC that's picking. Keep figuring that, but yeah, since they don't really need, well, they
Actually,
just
yeah, I feel like a red church could also happen. You are.
yep. I
Um,
feel like they could just yeah they could LTC or a KK if any of them were picking them up as LTC. Um, if LTC is picking, I feel like Red Church would still be good. For just to try for the 2 round sweep, which could definitely be possible, especially because again their metal hunters are still in.
hmm.
All right, we will be seeing a secret hospital bed. Previously mentioned, we did think I did think that Sacred would be banned from KK side uh because of how bad it is. It would be for the hunter, and it's good for survivors.
Um, uh, and the survivor side seems to select ever sleeping.
Ever sleeping,
Interesting. Um,
ever sleeping's a good map too. I
yep,
love ever sleeping. Medium size and it's pretty open. It's my favorite map to play Ivy on. I feel like Hullabaloo and Goatman also really good on this map.
yep. Ever sleeping is not only a very strong map for majority hunter, but especially strong for Hullabaloo and Goatman. So, um, they're looking to ease off the pressure on the hunter and adding the same pressure onto the survivor, adding more weight onto the survivor. Um, because both both sides has the choice of at least one meta hunter on the table. So
Yep,
yeah, it is definitely a very interesting choice.
very excited to go into this round. Usually when survivors are desperate for escape, you can usually see some very crazy picks for over supporting to make sure the person kiting will still stay alive until the very end.
Hmm.
It's also a possibility for crazier builds than we've seen before. I feel I've seen builds in tournament where survivors don't even have BP sometimes just so that they can fully maximize their kiting ability.
Very true. I feel like since LTC is in such a bad shape right now, and they would require the leading points. Um, wait, is it LTC?
I'm pretty sure it's KK that has it. LTC. Yeah, LTC is the 1 to 10.
My bad.
So kind of hard
Oops.
to keep up, huh? Because we don't really have
Yep.
something. It's okay. I can always remind you because I'll keep it track.
Yep. Um,
Right now, the permabands are just being set up.
mm,
All right, we'll be starting the band sequence.
a
Oh,
very straightforward and fast priestess and seer ban, a very common ban. And on this map, priestess is in fact strong.
this
So
is really strong in this map.
yep, a very understandable ban as well.
Yep, we'll be seeing a hullabaloo band. The the survivors. But Goatman is still out because he was never played in round one. So the hunter still has full access to another meta, if not Goatman, then Opera Singer or Ivy. I feel like Ivy would. This is personally this is my favorite map to play Ivy on because of its openness. It really lessens spaces for the main body to get stuck in. So honestly, I'd be excited to watch an Ivy pick here,
Yep.
but it seems that a Goatman would be my favorite.
Same here. Especially this hunter last round has played Dreamwitch before, and Dreamwitch is some say Dreamwitch is just Ivy, but like nerfed. So
Uh, yes, people just say that Ivy is like a dream witch, but like easier because there's only really one other body to control, just the youth, and you can't attack anyways. So
yep,
like a dream witch leech. Oh, right.
puppet
We'll be
third ban.
seeing a puppeteer ban. The puppeteer ban, kind of telling for Goatman or something like that Kate's tanks. So like also an opposite could be very possible because usually hunters with one hit abilities would hate tanks, but hunters also like Goatman because yeah the cage can collapse and the puppeteer wouldn't take too much damage, which can allow to kite longer. Something that hunters don't want.
Very true. We're gonna see a prospector pick and the monologist picked. Um, uh,
But those are very interesting. There's Prospector, Gravekeeper, Gardener, and Entomologist. All are very interesting picks. We can see the Prospector pick probably for the harassment, just to make sure that the person who picks Kite can stay alive. They're aiming for that force escape.
yep, they are. With the harasser pick, they are playing relatively aggressive in this comp with both a supporter and a harasser here. Um, I mean, they have to at this point because they're quite behind, I would say. So, it's just not out of the ordinary, but mind I question how may you harass something of a goatman? I'm
Mhm.
really interested to see the plays.
It would be very hard to harass something like Boatman. Would also love to see teamwork with the Molly's Bees. Teamwork is always very fascinating to watch. It really shows that the survivors are trying their best together to get that forest escape. Um, I'm also very excited to see the hunter pick because of the two very out of their picks for round one. Oh, and it is a goat man. We will
And
be seeing a goat man.
we will be seeing a goatman in BO2 on Ever Sleeping. Um, I personally feel like Ever Sleeping is just the strongest map for goatman. Not saying like he's weak in any other maps, but just really this map is like built for him.
Yeah, this map is definitely good for him. There's a lot of places where you can trap survivors that won't have much places to kite you in, or stable tracks even. When I first saw a showcase of Goatman, it was on Every Sleeping, and I really thought that he was such a strong hunter because of the way that he's used.
Yes. We're actually seeing a tide on the gardener and Sui build on the entomologist. They're expecting for the hunter to chase Ento here, but uh, hmm,
Very interesting. Oh, it seems that the hunter might opt to chase the gardener instead, who only has tide. So we'll be seeing flywheel borrowed time on the prospector, flywheel knee jerk on the entomologist, borrowed time tide on the gravekeeper, and borrowed time tide on the gardener. It seems like with these tides, they want to make sure like stall for time or something. That's usually what you see when two people bring tide. Usually, that he usually wants to stall for time here. I feel as if they were expecting the hunter to spawn at the bottom next to the melee because she has the full kite build. but it seems the hunter has other plans. So I wonder how they would respond to this.
Yep. Um. Okay. Starting off to spawn. The hunter going straight towards the prospector, and the prospector actually run into the hunter for a second, allowing the cage position almost immediately as the matchup starts. A very good cage here, blocking off both pallets here actually.
Yep.
And yep, gets the first hit.
Hit on the prospector. Very early hit, and it seems that
Swings to
Cypher's being worked on too.
Yep. Goldman here kind of confused by his own traps, and well, very nice play from the prospector for actually somehow managing to survive that.
It was quite the miracle to watch. Goldman games are always so confusing to comprehend because of how it is. Seems that we would prospector go down on someone's cipher.
Yep. Prospector dying on the entomologist cipher. Oh, it is not. It is actually Gravekeeper cipher then. The cipher here is clearly not enough to initiate a 3 escape, especially against the Goatman. Oh, very smart shovel by the Gravekeeper, knowing, even one could say even predicting the cage to spawn. Coming out of the
Gravekeeper is doing so good right now.
Very good rescue.
It's a very standard rescue from the Gravekeeper. Now it's going to be up to his prospector to continue paying long enough for these ciphers to have more progress, because as you can see, we only have 2 ciphers out of the 300 that we will be seeing him go down. But like I said, we will only have like 2 ciphers, well now 3 if you need it, but they still all have really low progress.
Yep, there is essentially 3 full ciphers remaining, and the Gravekeeper has to heal up with the entomologist, otherwise he will be a vulnerable target for the survivor side. Gardner raising the shield.
The shield also has time, so there's also an opportunity to stall for more progress, but I don't think it would be enough for them to score a 3 escape.
Yep, the Prospector has to kite at least for around 5 to 6 cages against the Goatman to really be able to make the 3 escape happen. And here is the cage. The Gravekeeper here coming to body block. The Gardener here breaking the cage almost immediately, allowing the Prospector to extend his kite just a little bit longer. Breaking the second cage here. They are.
This is the kind of teamwork I want to see from the survivors, albeit this is kind of hindering their progress. It is very interesting to watch, though.
Another break on the cage. This is actually extremely well played by the survivor side. Having essentially 2-person in the cage area against the Goatman. Goatman finally decides to hit the Gardener. He was constantly breaking cages. But around 3 to 4 cages already been missed, although the cipher is not much because the Gardener is constantly harassing the Goatman, but you know, a very good progress has been stalled. And the Goatman
that was a very interesting team play. This is the kind of thing I was talking about with the survivors getting the 3 escape. You can usually see team plays that would harass the hunter just to make sure the person stays alive, and you can see that from the survivors. That was very enjoyable to watch because it was a very unconventional strategy against the Goatman.
Yep. Finds the Gardener almost immediately, but goes back to the cipher because the cipher is in fact getting worked on by the entomologist. here. A cage on the etymologist, missing the teleport just by 1 bit, 2 bits. Misses the hit. Unable to hit, misses 1 cage, but since he is in fact full presence, getting a little lost by the cage's displacement.
And this is again, this is who they ideally wanted to be chased because of the full kite build.
Yep. Misses the second cage, but gets hit with the third cage. We can see on the outside there is still only 1 cipher remaining. And there's 2 ciphers with progress, and they're starting the new one already. This is looking good for the survivor side actually to tie in BO2. I mean, usually you don't want to tie in BO2. I mean, you would, but like it's extremely good since both sides does have like a meta hunter here and a ghostman on the opponent side getting tied is,
Oh
you know.
no, that
Oh,
is that is a basic Goatman. I'm sure everyone's familiar with how turbulent it can be to rescue against the Goatman in basement. People just opt to sell. But it seems that we will be seeing an aggressive play from the Goatman.
teleports from the ghostman onto the
Onto the
Gravekeeper. Gravekeeper
Gravekeeper.
using his last shovel here. Still
Will
getting
he
it.
get him?
Uh, looking like almost an insta kill here for the Ghostman player. Misses that hit just barely.
I'll be really close.
Yep. Unfortunately, the Gravekeeper is dying here. Just working on the cipher, not trying to rescue the Gardener. Well, a little bit miscommunication, I think, on the survivor side.
This team was certainly heading towards a very good spot because of the play from earlier, but it seemed that because no one went to go in to rescue the Gardener, this is starting to cost them.
Yep.
Especially because the Goatman knows where the entomologist is due to the cipher machine.
Sees the footprints left by the entomologist. Is gonna find him? No, very smart entomologist. Being on the bees, hiding her footprints. The Goatman is unable to see the entomologist, and
And he's still circling around the area because he has tinnitus.
yep. The entomologist is actually very smart. Just barely in range of the tinnitus range, and really not giving much chance for the Goatman to see him. But sees the bees. Finds the entomologist is lag.
Unfortunately, another 4K. Despite that incredible play from earlier, where we saw the survivors have some incredible teamwork to support the prospector, and it did seem to prove useful despite them losing cipher progress. But it seems the miscommunication in the basement really cost them their whole game.
Yes. Very unfortunate game. It was very tense, and both sides really play to their best ability. But you know, sometimes one mistake, even in communication, really just costs the entire game for you, like that.
Yep. Very costly, especially against the hunter like Goatman. Really good. Can really flip the whole game around, and that's something survivors always need to look out for.
So the hunter here needs a 4 escape, a four kill to even make it to round 3. Anything less than a 4 kill will just be a win for the side of LTC.
Yep. They'll just win by rounds and by points. Wonder if the hunter will be deciding to pick the meta just to just to get just to get that working, or will we see another very specialist pick for confidence in their play?
Yep.
Definitely here though, I would pick a meta hunter.
Yep. I would as well. The hunter needs a 4K here. Like this, anything less than a 4Q, disqualifies their team. So I mean, a lot of stress is definitely placed on the hunter, and even if it is a 4K, survivors we need to both 4 escape and 4 kill in the next round to make it to um overtime. So
They can even clear the points because even if they do by points, even if they manage by rounds, if by points LTC still has the advantage,
yep,
then they won't be able to make it to overtime.
yes. Wow, really, it's very looking very bad for the side of KK, and
Right? They're setting up permabans right now. Those stories is a clear clear. I'm not sure what else this person plays, so I won't be able to comment on whether they would pick any specialist hunters, or even if they're confident in the specialist hunter with the position that their team is in.
um, it would seem I'm actually the one hunting for KK. Okay.
Oh, did you sub in?
A temporary sub in that was immediately removed from the player side.
You're supposed to mention that before the round.
Ah, you see, that's why.
Not allowed to sub in anymore. You didn't mention it start of the round. It's
Uh,
great. Alright. I think we're missing someone. I think we're missing someone to join later. Or will not. Okay. Alright, so teams are ready now. We will be starting this soon.
all right, starting into the second half of the matchup.
Yep.
Um, the priestess here ban.
The
Mimics
classic ban.
Yep, the classic ban, especially on this map, with very good reasons. Both priestess and seer is extremely strong. On this map, and seer. Oh, we're gonna see actually a Goatman ban here, allowing a Hurabaru to come through. Um,
Because they prefer fighting a hullabaloo or a goat man. I mean, that's fair. But man,
yep,
really confusing. I feel like out of the two new meta hunters, hullabaloo's the most straightforward one.
yes. I'll say the and Hurabaru, it's sometimes one would say it's easier to one escape against compared to
Mhm.
Goatman because um you'd have that you sometimes will have like that chance to you know uh
You have a
get out
chance.
guided in the first guide, and that leaves a space open for perhaps a tie if you just if sells.
Like, well, sometimes a hullabaloo can be compared to like opera, like before her nerfs. Very stall meta. Like you want to stall for time for the ciphers just to ensure one escape and have like people with tight builds and
Yes,
sometimes even bring double time. I feel like yeah, because there's already like a similar strategy these people are familiar with. They might just opt for a Harvard instead of a Goatman who has some really unique gameplay.
yes, I would agree with so. Like this meta is actually somewhat similar to like the meta where opera was first introduced with
Yeah,
multiple multiple tides because it's really not that kiteable against these hunters if the hunter is fluent, and
yeah. So
most
you
of the
really
time
just want to
it's better to start time with Tide than to bring. You get more value starting time with Tide than to bring, say,
Yeah.
kiting build.
We will be seeing a mechanic band in Knight as well, and from the survivors we will see coordinator, mercenary, and an Aquarian pick. And the last one will be prisoner. This is a very standard team comp.
A very solid team comp. I mean, to I think not only get a tie, but I think really strong for actually not only for one skip, but actually really strong for a tie, especially against Hula Baloo, because the only character with the Hula Baloo is able to chase with a fast down is likely the prisoner, but as expected, the prisoner is very likely to have a Sui build.
Yep,
So
very much powerful fighter to compensate for the lack of kiting ability.
yep. And keep in mind the Sorrower here is with low pressure and the Hunter is with extremely high pressure, both
Yeah.
uh respectively one needing a one escape and the other needs a 4K. Um
I feel like these survivors could just possibly like play normally and like won't have like ton of pressure. Like they won't be stressing about things like rescuing, stalling, stuff like that. You just need to get someone out, and I feel like that kind of mindset will heavily reflect on how they play right now. So you could even possibly see people sell because they don't have a need for all that for the escape unless they want to have a challenge. Oh,
yep. Yep. Are we gonna see who? Ah,
the wheel pick
you
was okay.
almost.
Wheel is risky, so I can see why the hunter wouldn't go for a wheel.
Yep. But I'm extremely excited for a wheel pick. I mean, when's the last time I've seen a wheel being played?
Yeah, I was also extremely excited, but I know that the wheel pick is also very risky. You
Yep.
yeah. So really, you don't need you. But yes, you would see it in higher situations like this. But I feel like if you have the meta available to you, you'd pick that for to secure 4K that you
Yep.
need.
So I mean, going to the era selection, we're seeing prisoners spawning in the middle.
In the middle. I
Not
mean,
scared, fighting the hunter straight on.
this is what I meant by like you'd see that like their less stress reflect in their gameplay. Like this is something you would see from a team that would need a force game. But okay, but very interesting. So our builds are for the survivors: flywheel, borrow time on the antiquary, and borrow time flywheel. Also, as well on the coordinator, borrow time tide on the mercenary, and a full kite build with a flywheel and knee jerk on the prisoner. It seems that they really want that prisoner to be chased with the full kite build
Yep.
and spawning in middle.
This is this is like this is like asking for the chase. You know,
No,
it's literally
there's a
speaking to
prisoner.
hunter, chase me or you're a coward.
It's just a prisoner. Just a prisoner.
It's the prisoner.
Very excited to see how this person plays because it's very obvious they want to be chased.
Yep. Alright.
Alright, we'll be starting matchup. I realized I kept forgetting to say to build. Oops.
Alright, starting off the bat.
And we will be seeing influence, its influence attention keepers on the hullabaloo.
Yep, chasing after the prisoner here.
Oh, that's exactly what they wanted.
Yep. Very nice resting height for the from the survivor side. Your coordinator using a flare gun almost immediately to smart the match to allow the prisoner to transition out of the area.
Yep, and we'll be seeing the black bomb go onto the zone.
Oh, the Globalo does not have pallet breaking. Interesting build.
I feel like the Hollow is very confident in the ability to jump over the pallets. Like,
Oh, very
or-
nice hit. Shouldn't I have vaulted through the wall or stopped by some mysterious force unseen to the naked eye?
True. So far, this fight is very good. The ciphers are really healthy.
Dice here, but 3 ciphers at a very good position. This is a very good position for the survivors to tie if they do not fuck up the rescue. We're gonna see
the antiquarian is here to harass you.
Wow, the Robolo here getting stressed, missing the second double surprise. Is picking up, but forgets that, yep, the Robolo has been nerfed, so there's like a 3.3 second of the before the silence comes on, so the anti was able to use this, but almost immediately re-downs the prisoner, and I think the anti is gonna go down here. Yep.
Oh, this is very good for the Hullabaloo. That definitely could possibly push the game towards a 4K position. If this is third right. And its basement too. This seems very favorable right now.
The whole on the inquiry and kind of, brought this game, I think, into the hands of the Hullabaloo here.
Yeah, really did come across them. But then again, all they need is a one escape. So if they're confident in their ability to just get one person out, then I guess it really wouldn't matter too much to them, right? Have you seen the Merc go for get another receiving basement on the...
We're actually gonna see no damage rescue twice.
Yep.
And Gurry, the Merc has made up the mistake Anti-Gurry has done on the game, and I think more, but Thunder he's still trying to chase the Anti, and I think the Anti's gonna die here. Uses the... Yep. Unfortunately, unable... Yep.
But the Merc is still at full health.
You still have health, and the last segment has not been touched yet. This is actually okay for the Hullabaloo if the Hullabaloo is able to stop the mercenary here. Which oh, the mercenary, very good elbow pass from the mercenary side, able to rescue.
The mercenary still is able to get that rescue. And a pallet stun from...
Amazing pallet.
Yeah, amazing pallet stun.
Actually, does the Hullabaloo think the Cypher is almost planned? So, changing targets here so early?
I guess he's just scared that the Cypher machine might be primed and doesn't want to leave the Merc on the floor just in case they pop that Cypher.
Yep. Understandable, there is definitely a lot of stress on the Hunter right now.
Yeah. Especially with how this game is playing, it's more like a tie than the desired 4K.
Yep. Very good job here by the coordinator, stalling time and getting the minimum amount of balls, minimum amount of calories on herself. And we see the Cypher here is like 80%, 90%, about to be very nice flywheel, dodging the colors damages, and wow, able to...
It seems like I don't know who got the backdoor rescue, but someone did get the backdoor.
Yep.
And it just popped.
Very nice pop. This is looking like a...
This is very much. This is very much looking like. Very much looking like one kill, 3 escape. But the dungeon is here.
The dungeon is here, but the hunter is deciding to go after the person at the gate. Misses the first hit,
The
misses
gate
the
is already
second.
open.
It is open. Oh, but unfortunately, I think the prisoner is unable to escape, so misses the golden puppet.
Unfortunately, there's still a chance
Yep.
for the hunter to get the memorial, but
Yep.
it seems that the antiquarian might actually make it to the gate.
Oh, yep. Uh, but regardless, congratulations to LTC here because they've already the corner has it in chat spec. It is a four
Yeah,
escape against a Hulabaloo.
that was a really well played game from the survivor. While
Yep.
they had their hiccup with basement, it seemed that some choices made by the hunter never really led them to being able to force escape.
Yep. Clean 20-0. From the side of LTC. Congratulations for moving on, and b- I mean, best of luck for KK. They have shown great tenacity in this matchup, and um,
Yeah.
although unfortunate, but it
So
was
unfortunate.
very close match for around. I think all of the matches were extremely close, but although the points difference are vast.
Well, the big difference is that they definitely had their plays that showed that there was potential for them to win, especially with that team play against the Goatmen, where the gardeners breaking chairs was breaking the cages.
Yep,
It
it
was just
was.
very interesting to watch, and admittedly almost saved the game. But it seemed that that one mistake with no one rescuing and instead opting to go for the cipher really costed them their position.
Yes, in fact. Well, uh, congratulations to LTC. And is there any last words you would like to speak to the chat, Tori?
Yeah, congratulations to the team that's moving on. Very nice games to watch. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. This is Killer Boss and Tori commentating on the Twin Star tournament. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.
Continue.